When my period cramps were so bad I thought I was dying, I texted my work buddy, "Can you grab me a pack of pads on your way in?" 5 minutes later, my boss sauntered over to my desk and dropped a huge pile of every brand of pads imaginable on my desk. Then he walked away without a second glance. The office went into a frenzy. That morning, I was slumped over my desk, clutching my stomach as I sent a text to Joanna. My period ambushed me. "Can you grab me a pack of pads from the store downstairs on your way up?" After hitting send, I collapsed onto my desk like a soldier who'd lost all will to fight. 5 minutes later, a rap on my desk made me lift my head. Joanna was setting an iced Americano down right in front of me. "Just got in and you're already napping? Where were you out partying last night? Where are the pads?" I asked her. "What pads?" Joanna looked completely lost. "Didn't I just text you and ask you to bring me a pack of pads?" "No, you didn't." Joanna checked her phone, then looked back at me. "Who did you text?" A horrible feeling crept over me, but before I could even grab my phone to check, it was too late. My boss, Ryan Quinn, was strolling past my desk. In front of the entire office, he placed a giant, colorful bag filled with every kind of feminine hygiene product imaginable on my desk. Then he walked away without a single glance in my direction. Joanna's eyes nearly popped out of her head. I could hear a collective gasp from the people around me. My vision went dark as I shakily opened my messaging app. Sure enough, I have 2 pinned chats. One is for my work buddy, Joanna. The other is for my boss, Ryan Quinn. I'd sent it to the wrong person. That's it. Social suicide. Swoosh. I was instantly swarmed by my coworkers. "Jenna, what's the deal with you and the boss? Damn, girl, you landed the boss without any of us noticing? Should we start calling you the First Lady now?" Meanwhile, Joanna was rummaging through the huge bag Ryan had dropped on my desk, shaking with barely suppressed, spiteful laughter. "Wow, the boss is so thoughtful. He got daytime ones, nighttime ones, ultra thins, cottony ones. Ooh, and a heating pad." I shot Joanna a death glare. Of course she'd have something to say. She was the only one who knew I'd messed up, and instead of helping me explain, she was fanning the flames. I swept everything on my desk into a drawer and turned to face the crowd of curious, gossip-hungry colleagues. "It's not what you think," I explained, my voice strained. "I just sent the text to the wrong person." My coworkers froze for a second, then burst out laughing. "That is, without a doubt, the most creative excuse I have ever heard," one said. "Come on, Jenna, dating the boss isn't something you have to hide. Especially when our boss is such a catch. Seriously. If I were you, I'd have a sign on my desk that says Ryan Quinn's girlfriend. That's 2 words too many. Is it? Let me count." I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up and said loudly, "I really did send it by mistake. Look, I'll prove it." I held up my phone, showing them the chat with my boss. It was a blank screen, except for that one disastrous sentence I'd sent. No reply. That single green message bubble was on full, humiliating display. My coworkers glanced at my phone, then looked at me with pity. Their faces all screamed, "I'm so embarrassed for you." Coworker A patted my shoulder comfortingly. "Don't worry, career life is short. You'll be retired before you know it." Coworker B shook her head. "That's you. Jenna just graduated and started here this year." I wilted. Coworker C, who had started to walk away, hurried back. She nudged me with her elbow, winked, and whispered, "You cleared that chat history real good." I was speechless. She wiggled her eyebrows suggestively. "Say no more. I get it. Your secret's safe with me." Secret, my ass. My mind was a complete mess. As I unwrapped a pad, I felt like the damn thing was biting my hand. Should I go apologize to him? I texted Joanna, checking 3 times to make sure I was sending it to the right person. She replied instantly, duh. And you need to pay him back for the pads. I tapped on Ryan's profile picture and was about to start typing when another message from Joanna slammed onto my screen. Go to his office and tell him in person. Where's your emotional intelligence? The man carried a bag of pads all the way up here for you, and you're just going to text him an apology? I turned to look at her, and she bared her teeth at me in mock fury. Well, time to face the music. I took a deep breath, looked to the heavens, clenched my fists, and marched heroically from my desk toward the boss's office. The whole way there, I could feel everyone's eyes on me. Their hot, gossipy stares were so intense I felt like smoke was coming off my head. The door to his office was open. I stood there meekly and knocked lightly. Mr. Quinn. Ryan looked up. If you're not feeling well today, you can go home and rest. No, that's not it, Mr. Quinn. I waved my hands frantically. He just looked at me, his eyes asking the question. I sent that text to the wrong person this morning. I'm so sorry, Mr. Quinn. And, how much was it? I can transfer you the money. It's fine, don't worry about it. No, please, Mr. Quinn. This was already so presumptuous of me. I insist on paying you back, I persisted. All right. But I have a question, Ryan said, finally giving in. Go ahead, I said, immediately standing at attention. Why would you send it to me? I shouldn't even be on your recent chats list. He was right. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't be. We had never spoken a single word to each other via text. He looked at me, his gaze so probing it felt like he could see right through me. You're one of my pinned chats. I was afraid I might miss a work notification if you assign me something, I stammered, my voice getting smaller and smaller under his stare. What kind of nonsense was I spouting? As if Ryan Quinn would ever assign me work directly. But I couldn't exactly tell him he'd been pinned to the top of my chat list since I was in college. Mr. Quinn, sorry I'm late. A sickly sweet voice came from behind me. A wave of perfume hit my nose, and the person entering skillfully bumped me right out of the doorway. Click. The newcomer even shut the door behind her. I rubbed my nose and turned around, only to be met with the deeply disappointed faces of my coworkers. So she really did send the wrong text. And here I was hoping you could rescue Mr. Quinn from Paige. Paige was our company's executive VP. And just like the title suggests, she was one of those execs with a fancy title but no real power, who could stick her nose into anything and everything. Why'd you come out? That conversation had so much potential. Am I the only one whose main takeaway here is that Mr. Quinn knew Jenna sent the text by mistake but still went and bought her the pads? Oh, that's right. Mr. Quinn is so sweet. Talented, handsome, gentle, thoughtful, and patient. What am I supposed to do now that I like him even more? We support you, Jenna. Take down Paige and claim your throne. I was completely speechless. You all know it was a mistake, so why are you still making such a drama out of this? Ignoring the gossips, I hurried back to my desk. I picked up my phone to transfer Ryan the money, then remembered he hadn't told me the amount. Whatever. I'll go to the store after work and check the prices myself. Unfortunately, by lunchtime, the story of Ryan buying me pads had spread throughout the entire company. Everyone was gleefully speculating about our relationship. Fortunately, by the end of the day, the fact that I'd sent the text by mistake had also spread through the company, and the gossip about us finally died down. The next day, my period had me running a little late. As I walked through the company's main entrance, I saw a few colleagues from the admin department stocking several rows of pads in a new cabinet. A sign taped to the cabinet door read, "Please take one. Free of charge." What's all this? I asked, staring at the pads now on public display. Mr. Quinn received at least 10 texts this morning from people asking him to buy them pads, the head of admin said as she closed the cabinet. She turned to me with a smile. Thanks to you, all the female employees in our company will now have unlimited access to feminine hygiene products. I was floored. Pfft, Joanna burst out laughing. EW. I spun away from her, terrified she was going to spit into my cup. You should have seen the look on Paige's face when she saw that cabinet. She looked like she wanted to rip it right off the wall, Joanna said, laughing so hard she was doubled over. Coworker A added, I bet 8 of those 10 texts Mr. Quinn got this morning were from her. Coworker B chimed in, be more confident. I bet all 10 were from her. Coworker C said, honestly, I thought about sending him one, too. Shoo. Every head in the break room swiveled to look at her. Coworker C held up her hands. Just a thought. I didn't do it, I swear. She was about to pull out her phone to prove her innocence. If you need anything for your personal comfort, you can go directly to the admin department. A man's voice cut through the gossip. Mr. Quinn. The break room suddenly became painfully awkward. Ryan nodded, poured himself a coffee as if no one else was there, and then glanced at me on his way out. You should probably cut back on the coffee for the next few days. Ryan left, and I was instantly riddled with the bullets of gossip. Jenna. And you still deny it. You're good, girl. Seriously, when did you land the boss? Hey, are you all crazy? You can't talk to the boss's girl like that. Quick, swap the first lady's coffee for some ginger tea. No, it's not, this isn't coffee. I couldn't even get a word in. No one wanted to hear my explanation. It's work hours. How long are you all planning to slack off? Paige's face was dark, her shrill voice cutting through the wave of chatter. In a flash, the break room emptied out. Including me. Jenna, wait a second. I froze and pointed at myself. Me? Yes, you. Paige looked me up and down. Come with me. Joanna shot me a look that said, good luck. What can I do for you, Ms. Paige? I asked, not moving. First, I wasn't in her department. Second, I didn't know her well. There was no reason, professional or personal, for her to be calling me over. My question successfully made the gossiping colleagues, already 10 steps away, slow their retreat to a 0.25x crawl. Paige probably didn't expect me to defy her, because her expression soured even more. I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just found it bizarre. I hadn't done anything to her, so why was she talking to me like I was her servant? I might be an employee, but I'm not a doormat. What? You don't actually think Mr. Quinn is into you, do you? Paige folded her arms, her face a mask of ridicule. Is this what you wanted to talk to me about? I wanted to advise you that a young woman just starting her career shouldn't be looking for shortcuts or trying to ride someone's coattails. You should focus on your work. Have some self-respect, especially as a girl. I nodded. And? Paige's punch had landed on a pillow. She had expected me to blush and stammer out a defense, or maybe look ashamed at being caught. Instead, she just stared, baffled. Have you no shame? Intentionally sending Mr. Quinn a text to buy you pads? Paige snapped, finally losing her cool. So that was her angle. Miss Paige, your personal attacks are falling outside the scope of our work relationship, I reminded her. Am I personally attacking you? Or am I just stating the facts? Paige sneered. Even if it is a fact, so what? I mimicked her pose, folding my arms with a smile. You can send him a text too, Miss Paige. You can ask him to buy you some. There's no point in explaining or clarifying things with someone like this. The most effective counterattack is to make them believe the very thing they refuse to accept. In my peripheral vision, I saw the onlookers. Joanna, hiding in the crowd, gave me a thumbs up. You really know how to push her buttons. Paige's meltdown confirmed this morning's rumors. Her face went from red to white. She was furious, pointing a finger at me and screaming, Jenna. Get out right now. You're fired. Personnel decisions are not your concern, Paige. Ryan had appeared behind me at some point. Ryan, you heard her, right? Jenna just admitted she sent you that message on purpose yesterday morning. Seeing Ryan, Paige immediately straightened up, shooting me a triumphant look as she waited for me to be humiliated. She wasn't calling him Mr. Quinn anymore. Using his first name was a deliberate move to show me that their relationship went beyond work. The implication was that even Ryan, the boss, had to give her some face. So what chance did a little peon like me have? It's over, I thought, my heart sinking. In a moment of anger, my only goal had been to piss off Paige. I'd forgotten Ryan might overhear. The thought that he now saw me as the kind of person Paige was describing made me want to die. If I had really wanted to use cheap tricks to get his attention, would I have waited until today? It was so unfair. My only hope was that he hadn't heard, and I still had a chance to explain. Yeah, I heard, Ryan said. His answer made the other half of my heart freeze over. I turned to look at him, and he was looking at me. His deep, intelligent eyes were hidden behind non-prescription glasses, the lenses reflecting a light I couldn't decipher. In his eyes, at this moment, I must look so cheap. I regretted it instantly. I shouldn't have given in to a moment of rage just to spite Paige. Using such a vulgar tactic to make the whole company misunderstand your relationship with Mr. Quinn, the company doesn't need an employee with such a twisted mind. If you have any sense, you'll just quit now. Paige pointed at me, her 4-inch-long nails nearly poking me in the nose. Suddenly, a force pulled me backward. The sharp nails vanished from my view, replaced by Ryan's broad, strong back. Did you not hear what I just said, Paige? That question, delivered with the full authority of the boss, instantly extinguished Paige's arrogance. I heard. Personnel matters aren't part of my job scope, but being contradicted by Ryan in front of so many people was a huge loss of face for Paige, and she tried to argue her case. What happens between Jenna and me has nothing to do with you, and it certainly has nothing to do with work. I don't want to repeat myself. Is that clear? Ryan was usually good-natured and soft-spoken. This was the first time I had ever heard him use such a domineering, impatient tone. My heart suddenly started beating like crazy. Although I couldn't see Paige's face, I could guess from the brief silence and the force with which her high heels clicked away, as if trying to punch holes in the floor, that her expression was even uglier than when I had angered her earlier. Mr. Quinn, there's a document that needs your review. The head of HR appeared at the perfect moment. While speaking to Ryan, he secretly waved at the gossiping crowd, signaling for them to disperse. I tried to quietly back away, hoping to disappear into the background. Jenna. I had to stop my escape attempt and turn around sheepishly. Mr. Quinn. Ryan quickly scanned the document in his hand, signed it, and handed it back. Then he looked at me. I was trapped in his gaze, my hands clenched nervously behind my back. So, that message, you really sent it to me on purpose? He took a step closer. The distance between us was now less than a normal social distance. I was sure he could see the pimple that had popped up on my face thanks to my period. My mouth felt dry. The composure I'd had when I was provoking Paige was completely gone. Ryan suddenly broke into a smile. Go on back to your desk. He brushed past my shoulder and walked away. I was still standing there, mouth agape, unable to figure out how to explain myself, looking like a drooling idiot. I'm telling you, this isn't funny anymore. The cat is out of the bag, so why won't you just admit it? Madam First Lady, if you could please take a moment out of your busy schedule tonight to ask your husband when I'm getting a promotion and a raise, I'd be eternally grateful. Should we not bother asking you to lunch? I assume you won't be eating with us plebs. OMG, does this mean I need to find a new work buddy? I guess I can't randomly complain to you about the company anymore. This is such a sad story. Don't forget us when you're rich and famous. My phone was buzzing non-stop with a barrage of texts from Joanna. I finally understood what it meant to be unable to explain yourself even if you had a million mouths. What was Ryan's deal? My mind was a mess, and I didn't know if I should try to explain everything to him all over again. According to Joanna, Ryan had been smiling like he'd won the lottery when he walked away. What was he so happy about? Was he mocking me? Or did he genuinely find me funny? I opened my chat with Ryan. He still hadn't accepted the money I'd tried to transfer him last night. I decided I had to explain myself one more time. Anyone could misunderstand me, but not Ryan. I had just typed the R for Ryan when a client called. The customer is king, so obviously I had to take the call. While I was on the phone with the client, my phone buzzed a few more times. It was probably just Joanna rambling on. I ignored it and focused on the client, who was the first one I had handled independently since becoming a full-time employee. I was treating this account like a precious gem. When I finally finished the call and looked at my phone screen, I froze. Ryan, when are we kissing? My scalp prickled. What the hell? I quickly scrolled up. And there it was. That one damn message I had accidentally sent. Kiss. Ryan, don't tell me you sent this by mistake again. Ryan, who were you trying to kiss? Ryan, I didn't know you had a boyfriend. Ryan, is it me? Ryan, okay. I'll wait for you. Ryan, I can come to you, too. Staring at my phone, I felt completely and utterly fried. Maybe I should just take Paige's advice and quit. I had no face left to lose in front of Ryan. I clutched my phone, taking deep breaths. I'm so sorry, Mr. Quinn. It was a mistake. Really? It felt like a century before he replied, you think you can just say it was a mistake and that's it? It was over. I had finally dug my own grave. I could feel his anger through the screen. He had every right to be angry. If I were him, I'd have a hard time not thinking the other person was deliberately messing with me. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? Humble enough. Sincere enough. Right? Ryan, yesterday morning, I knew you might have sent that message by mistake, but I did what you asked anyway. My heart skipped a beat. I had a bad feeling about this. Ryan, so today, you're going to do the same. I almost threw my phone across the room. Do the same? What do you mean, do the same? Is he seriously telling me to go over and kiss him? If this were 3 years ago, and Ryan had told me to come kiss him, I probably would have woken up from the dream smiling. But now, I wanted to cry. Even though the mature, successful Ryan of today was far more charming than the campus legend from 3 years ago. In my heart, he was still just a pile of ruins. He probably didn't even remember me, or maybe he'd never really known who I was in the first place. He was the big man on campus. From the day I enrolled, the name Ryan Quinn was legendary among students in our major. I was one of his many admirers, amazed by his talent, captivated by his looks, and shocked by his abilities. I marveled at how such a perfect person could exist in this world. For him, I joined a student club for the first time. But even though he was a core member, he rarely showed up. He was always busy, winning awards at national and international professional competitions, raking in huge cash prizes along the way. He was a legend. As us mere mortals looked up at him, so close yet so far, we felt inspired to work harder. He motivated me for a long time. Until the image I had of him came crashing down. But I don't regret it. Idols may fall, but hard work always pays off. Like that unfinished design sketch of mine. I was sad about it, but when the completed version appeared in Ryan's hands, I was just glad my hard work had exposed a thief. I'll never forget that day. It was his last club activity before graduation, and projected on the screen was that unsigned piece of work. He said it was his favorite design from the past few years. Paige sat beside him, smiling like a flower, and said coyly, I was so honored to be a part of this piece's creation. I felt like I had swallowed a fly. Even though the painting had been altered, I could tell it was based on my draft. I stormed out, my chair clattering to the floor behind me. Everyone stared at me, wondering what was wrong. From that moment on, in my mind, Ryan was no better than a common thief. Not exposing him in public was the last shred of dignity I could give to my one-sided crush. It wasn't for his sake. After that, I blocked out all news about Ryan, including the rumor that he had confessed his love for Paige on the campus confession page when he graduated. I clutched my aching heart and brainwashed myself over and over. Who cares about that plagiarizing scumbag? It's one thing to be blind for a while, but you can't be blind forever. I never saw Ryan again after that, until I started looking for a job after graduation. I once read an analogy that said graduates are like children born from their alma mater into society. Once you're out, it's sink or swim. No matter how well you did in school, finding a job as a recent grad is never easy. My classmates and I started frantically sending out resumes. For a while, I wasn't even getting interviews. I started to doubt myself. Maybe I should listen to my parents, give up my passion, and just take the civil service exam. Just then, I received an interview invitation from a company. After interviews and written tests, I got into the company pretty smoothly. I never expected that this well-regarded firm was founded by Ryan Quinn himself. Of course, I wasn't so emotional as to give up a great job with good pay just because the boss was my former crush. So I stayed. I pretended not to know him, treating him like a stranger. Slowly, I realized I was overthinking it. I was only pretending not to know Ryan. Ryan genuinely didn't know me. Ryan's company was known for hiring a lot of recent graduates. Energetic, sharp, bold, and creative, that was my impression of the company after working there for a while. The style was very Ryan. I sometimes wondered if he'd lost his mind back then. Why would he claim my draft as his own? He was so talented and full of ideas. Why would he need to stoop to using my sketch as a stepping stone? And he was generous enough to let Paige ruin it, too. Joanna told me that Paige wasn't one of the original founders. When Ryan's startup was struggling, Paige had used the excuse of studying in Korea to leave the team, pulling out all her shares. Later, when the company found its footing and became successful, she came back. Ryan didn't turn her away, probably out of respect for their past collaboration. Is that why they broke up? Joanna looked shocked. Broke up? They were never a couple. I was even more shocked. But they got together when they graduated from college, didn't you know? Joanna said, Mr. Quinn's reputation is being slandered. We went to the same university. When Ryan graduated, he confessed his feelings for Paige on the school's confession page, I told Joanna, filling her in. Mr. Quinn has never been in a relationship. He said so himself at a company retreat. The girl he likes won't give him the time of day. No idea who this goddess could be. I was stunned. Joanna didn't understand the storm raging inside me and continued. After Paige came back from her little adventure, she realized just how great Mr. Quinn is. She's the only employee who truly treats her colleagues like family, Joanna said with a giggle. She treats Mr. Quinn like her imaginary husband. Even after he's rejected her 800 times, she just won't give up. The memories washed over me like a tidal wave, drowning me before receding. They left me staring at my phone, completely lost. I admit my feelings for Ryan have always been complicated. I once blocked him on my messenger, only to unblock him a few days later. We had never exchanged a single word, and he probably had no idea I was hiding in a corner of his contact list. I added him from the club's group chat. The night I joined, after the welcome meeting, Ryan had, for the first time ever, apparently posted his QR code in the chat. He had added a note, feel free to reach out to discuss professional questions. The group chat blew up that night. My fingers trembled with excitement as I added him. But I never had the courage to talk to him. I could only pin him to the top of my chat list. Every time I opened the app, that was the closest I ever got to him. I had imagined countless times what I would say to him, and what he would say back. I never would have guessed our chat history would begin with a pack of pads. And now, it was ending with him telling me to come and kiss him. What kind of bizarre plot twist was this? Knock, knock. As a reflex, I slapped my phone face down on the desk. I looked up to see Ryan standing right beside my cubicle. Mr. Quinn. I immediately shot to my feet, unable to hide the panic on my face. What was he doing here? He wasn't really here to collect on that debt, was he? Ryan wasn't wearing his glasses. Without them, he looked less scholarly and more boyish, with a sharp edge. I didn't have to look to know that behind me, my co-workers were all ears, holding their breath, determined not to miss a single punctuation mark of this drama. Ryan's gaze left me feeling completely disoriented. I really had sent those texts by mistake, but he was acting like he was the one on something. What wire in his brain had short-circuited that he was so determined to pursue this? Here? Ryan's question came out of nowhere, and my co-workers' faces were all question marks. My face flushed crimson, all the way down to my neck. Oh my God. He was really here for the kiss. But wait, the Ryan I remembered was never this thick-skinned. I shook my head, my neck stiff. Then where? Ryan raised an eyebrow. I didn't want to admit it, but a tiny flame somewhere deep inside me was starting to reignite, and I couldn't suppress it. I couldn't look him in the eye without my heart fluttering, especially not when he was looking at me so intently. I can explain, I stammered, my mind in turmoil. I don't want your explanation. I want your action. Gulp. Someone swallowed their saliva. Loudly. Ryan suddenly leaned in closer. If you don't act. I'll act. I'll do it myself. I scrambled backward a few steps in a panic. Clatter. A pen dropped to the floor behind me. What kind of terrible dialogue was this? I wanted to bite my own tongue off. Ryan smiled. You said it. I'll be waiting. He walked away. I was still standing there, and I didn't have to turn around to know that a dozen pairs of eyes were boring into my back. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the frantic beating in my chest. I hadn't realized my old crush still had this much power over me. Suddenly, a cup of hot milk appeared on my desk, followed by a small cake, then fruit. One by one, the offerings piled up. I turned around. My co-workers were all holding various snacks, grinning at me, their white teeth dazzling. What's this? Are you feeding a pig? Just trying to suck up to the future Mrs. CEO. Jenna, honey, I want to switch desks. Mine is way too sunny by the window. Get out of here, you. All that effort for such a pathetic request? My turn. Hey, beautiful Jenna, you think maybe you could help me get my full-time position confirmed a little early? I gave them a pleading look. I had given up on explaining. How could I? If I were them, I wouldn't believe me either. Joanna squeezed through the crowd. Back up. Whatever you want, you can ask later. Just as I was about to shoot her a grateful look, I heard her say. From now on, I'm the head lady in waiting to Her Majesty. Who do you people think you are, coming to speak to the First Lady directly? I really wanted to smack her over the head. I generally got along well with people at work, so even though they all misunderstood my relationship with Ryan, it didn't stop them from teasing me relentlessly. Joanna's clowning around finally dispersed the gossips, and my desk was finally quiet again. But my mind was still a chaotic mess. I didn't know what Ryan was up to. Was he just trying to punish me for sending 2 mistaken texts in a row? If it were that simple, then Ryan's maturity was seriously questionable. If not, then what was he doing? Using his position for workplace harassment? My head started to hurt. My phone vibrated. A message from Joanna appeared. I slammed my phone face down, not wanting to deal with her. When lunchtime arrived, some were excited, some were worried. The excited ones were my colleagues, eager for more gossip. The worried one was me, the subject of the gossip. I couldn't imagine what awaited me in the cafeteria. As I walked with the crowd toward the elevators, I was still trying to figure out where I could sit to get as far away from them as possible. I didn't even notice the space next to me go dark. I waited for you all morning. Ryan's voice made me jump. Mr. Quinn, I was just going to get some lunch. That other thing isn't urgent. I tried my best to look calm and normal. Inside, a tsunami was raging. What did he say? He waited for me all morning. He, Ryan Quinn, was waiting for me. I couldn't imagine how thrilled I would have been to hear those words 3 years ago. To be honest, I was thrilled now, too. I think it's urgent. Ryan stopped walking when he heard my reply. Mr. Quinn, you know it's a misunderstanding. Why are you making things so difficult for me? I also stopped. A sudden, inexplicable sense of grievance washed over me. I had liked him so much, and he didn't know. I had tried so hard to get closer to him, and he didn't know. I had personally shattered my own dream of loving him, and he didn't know. And now, with every step he took closer, the dream I had torn apart and the ruins I had left behind were reassembling at a dizzying speed, and he didn't know that either. But I knew. Once he got close and then left again, I would never be able to destroy this rebuilt castle a second time. What would I do then? Difficult? He looked down at me. His expression was so wounded, I almost felt like I was the one bullying him. He suddenly took my hand and strode quickly into an elevator. As I was pulled inside and found my footing, I realized the doorway was packed with colleagues waiting for the next one. Ryan seemed to freeze for a second, then his long fingers pressed the closed door button. Are you all getting in? The crowd outside shook their heads in unison like a field of bobbleheads. The elevator doors slowly slid shut. My hand was still in Ryan's grasp. Mr. Quinn, I misspoke earlier. I decided to apologize first. There's no shame in bowing to your meal ticket. After the ordeal of job hunting, I knew a good job was much harder to find than a good boyfriend. Ryan didn't say anything. He stared straight ahead, his gaze not even shifting. I tried to pull my hand back, thinking he might have forgotten to let go. But the moment I moved, his grip tightened. Jenna. I saw his chest rising and falling slowly. Mr. Quinn, I whispered in response. He gave my wrist a gentle tug. My body followed instinctively, and I was pulled into a firm, solid hug. Ryan's chin rested near my ear, and his muffled voice reached me. I don't want to make things hard for you. But I can't help it. Not now that you've finally decided to come and mess with me. By the time I got out of the elevator, I was completely numb. How I ended up in the passenger seat of Ryan's car and how we got to the restaurant, I don't know. My soul didn't catch up with my body until I was seated at the table. This place. I looked around. This was a restaurant I used to go to all the time in college. After I started working, I moved farther away and hadn't been back in a while. How did Ryan know? A coincidence? Ryan said, this was my favorite place to eat before I graduated. No wonder. It really was a coincidence. Ryan continued, because the girl I liked back then used to come here a lot. Paige? I blurted out. But I'd never seen her here before. The smile on Ryan's face visibly stiffened. What does she have to do with this? I knew I'd said the wrong thing, so I looked down and mumbled, well, everyone knew you and Paige were a couple back then. You even confessed your feelings for her on the school's confession page when you graduated. Who confessed to her? Ryan's eyes went wide with anger. I looked up at him suspiciously. Paige replied to your confession post. I didn't even know about that, Ryan said, frowning at me. Then his brow cleared. You saw it. I was just curious. The campus legend confessing to the department belle, who wouldn't want to see that? Ryan rubbed his temples. I did more than just post on the confession page. I once worked up the courage to send you a message, only to find out you had blocked me. As much as I hate to admit it, I figured I wasn't your type, so I didn't bother you again after that. Ryan gave a bitter smile. But graduation was coming up, and I thought I might never see you again. I couldn't let it go completely. I had to leave something behind. I didn't use your name because I was afraid it would cause you trouble. I stared at Ryan, dumbfounded. What was he saying? Was he saying my name was supposed to be on that confession post? I might not be your type, but, Jenna, could you give me a chance? Let me try to win you over. Ryan's sincere plea was tinged with nervousness. Wait a minute. I stopped him before he could get any more sentimental, forcing my brain to escape the pink, bubbly cloud it was floating in. Ryan looked at me, completely bewildered. Is your way of liking me to plagiarize my artwork? The question came straight from my soul. Plagiarize? Your artwork? Ryan's confusion didn't seem fake. The last club meeting you attended before you graduated. The painting you projected on the screen, even though it was a finished piece, I recognized the draft. It was the one I had lost when it was only half done. That was your draft? Ryan looked thoughtful, then smiled. No wonder. I always thought it felt like a cheap imitation. What? He had me completely lost now. Paige brought me that draft. I thought it was very good, so I polished it a bit for her. She finished the rest herself. I thought it was missing something, but I really liked the creativity of the initial draft, so I showed it at the meeting. Ryan frowned, looking exasperated. But why would you think I was the one who plagiarized it? I froze. It was true. I had never heard Ryan say the work was his. I had only heard Paige say she was honored to be part of its creation. I had been subconsciously misled into thinking Ryan was the main creator. So that's why you stormed out and blocked me? Ryan guessed, reading my expression. I was afraid if I stayed any longer, I'd expose you and ruin your reputation. Then why didn't you? You shouldn't go easy on plagiarists. Because I didn't want to see the person I liked be humiliated. After I said it, Ryan went still. Looking at his face, I felt like I was looking at a mirror image of myself just moments before. Incredulous, disbelieving. I couldn't help but laugh, and my laughter was choked with tears. That's just how things are in this world. So many coincidences, and so many missed chances. The QR code he posted in the group chat all those years ago. I was the only one whose friend request he accepted. And when he finally worked up the courage to confess his feelings, I, in my heartbroken state, had blocked him. Later, when I quietly unblocked him, he had already lost all hope and didn't dare try to contact me again. His anonymous confession was claimed by someone else, and he never knew. We had missed each other through a series of unfortunate events. It wasn't until that one mistaken text that he realized he was still on my contact list. Even though he suspected I'd sent it by mistake, he had excitedly gone back downstairs to the store and spent ages carefully selecting products in the feminine hygiene aisle. Am I really your pin chat? Even now, Ryan found it hard to believe. I opened my phone and showed him. Why is there another one? Ryan immediately spotted Joanna. For real-time sharing of office gossip and tracking the boss's movements, I answered honestly. Tracking the boss's movements? Ryan didn't understand. Like when the boss is out, so we know when we can slack off, that kind of thing. My voice trailed off. I think I just sold out all my coworkers. You won't need that anymore. I'll report my whereabouts to you personally from now on. I lifted my phone to pretend I was checking messages, hiding the grin that was harder to control than machine gun recoil. I'd never felt like my lunch break was this short before. The elevator was almost there. I glanced at Ryan beside me. His handsome profile was so close, no longer an unreachable distance. Blinded by his good looks, I suddenly stood on my tiptoes and gave him a quick kiss on the cheek. He looked down at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of surprise and delight. Returning the favor. Can't say I don't keep my promises, I said, my face burning as I looked away. Suddenly, the light in front of me dimmed as Ryan's presence loomed over me. His kiss was gentle but firm, with a hint of dominance. My back was pressed against the cool wall, enveloped in his breath and his scent. Ding! When I heard the elevator doors open, my sanity made a brief return. I wasn't sure if the hazy figures I saw through my dazed eyes were my gossip-loving colleagues, but Ryan, without even turning his head, reached out and held the door close button. By the time the next elevator arrived, I was following Ryan out, my face still flushed. The office was as quiet as usual. Good. No one was staring at me like they had been this morning. I relaxed and strolled back to my desk. The moment I sat down, Joanna sent me a sticker. It was a gif of Ryan and me making out in the elevator lobby, taken from the security camera's angle. My eyes widened in shock. I scanned the room. Everyone was looking down, working. It seemed like no one knew. Your lipstick is smeared. Joanna leaned over from her desk across from me, a wicked grin on her face. I quickly fumbled for a mirror while texting her back. What happened? How did you get into the security room? Because we didn't get a good enough look at the elevator. The boss's hand was too fast. You were at the elevator? A bad feeling started to creep in. Not me. Us. Of course. I covered my face in despair. The last shred of hope I was clinging to finally died. But wait. I looked around suspiciously. Their reactions were completely different from what I expected. Yesterday, they were ready to interrogate me over a pack of pads. Now, after seeing a live show, they were so calm and indifferent. I pointed at my coworkers and then looked at Joanna with a shrug, indicating my confusion. Joanna grinned and started tapping away on her phone. Because before it was a joke. This time it's real. Who would dare mess with the real queen? Pfft. I almost laughed out loud. But everyone has a copy of that sticker. My smile vanished. A red dot appeared on the company group chat icon. I tapped on it. Coworker C, I can't believe I can't simp over the boss in front of Jenna anymore, wah. Then she dropped the animated gif from the elevator. Coworker C, does anyone get how I'm both heartbroken and thrilled right now? The boss is so handsome and such a good kisser. I froze. Coworker A, OMG, you posted in the wrong chat. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. For messages were retracted right before my eyes. But what was the point? That explosive gif from the elevator had been seen in all its glory. I prayed that I was the only one who saw it. I prayed that everyone who saw it would pretend they didn't. A dead silence fell over both the office and the group chat. Ryan was the one who broke it. Nice gif. I could hear the entire office trying to stifle their laughter, their bodies shaking so hard their chairs were squeaking. Coworker C, Mr. Quinn, I'm so sorry. I'll delete it right now. Ryan, send it again. I didn't get to save it. Coworker C, I deleted it. Coworker A, I have it. I have it. Coworker B, me too, me too. And then I watched as a long stream of the steamy elevator kiss gif flooded the company chat, sent by various helpful souls. A dozen Ryans and Jennas, lined up in a row, kissing over and over in perfect unison. True social suicide isn't dying just once. It's dying over and over again. All employees who sent the above gif, please report to the HR department before the end of the day to sign for your fines. Please refrain from entering the security room to view surveillance footage during work hours, as it disrupts normal operations. Thank you. A single message from the head of HR put an end to everything. Now it was my turn to laugh out loud. Is the boss trying to entrap us? A weak voice piped up from somewhere in the office. That one comment opened the floodgates. Yes. That's exactly what he's doing. Arg. Why is the boss like this? He holds such a grudge. If he didn't want us to save the gif, he should have just said so. My money, no. I ducked my head, trying to be an ostrich, but there was no escaping my fate. Jenna honey. I turned my head, my smile radiating pure innocence. What's up? Did something happen? You could try being a little more dramatic, Joanna said, nearly splitting in two from laughter. She was smart enough not to have joined the gift-sharing frenzy. I rolled my eyes at her. Hey, beautiful Jenna, I already paid my tuition. Can you please tell me how you and the boss got together? Suddenly, my desk was the center of attention again. The paying VIPs were no longer hiding their gossipy enthusiasm, waiting to unlock the next chapter of the story. Before I could even speak, the sharp, rapid clicking of high heels approached, accompanied by an furious voice, "Jenna. Can I help you?" I didn't move, just lifted my eyelids slightly. I hadn't even gone looking for her, and here she was, serving herself up on a platter. Do you even know the meaning of the word shame? Seducing your superior, corrupting the office morale, how can you still show your face here? Paige's face was a fascinating spectrum of colors when she was angry. If I wasn't one of the protagonists in that elevator scene, she probably would have accused me of indecency, too. If I'm not here, where should I be? Are you suggesting I go home and wait for Ryan to support me? I feigned a coy look. Oh, that wouldn't be right. Paige was speechless for a moment, then let out a cold laugh. I'm here to inform you that your design proposal has repeatedly failed to meet the client's standards. The client is now demanding a new designer. This has never happened at our company before. The severe damage you've caused has already hurt the company's reputation. For all the losses you've caused, you are being terminated. My mind went blank. That wasn't right. The client and I had just spoken this morning, and they only wanted one tiny detail changed. I instinctively reached for my phone, but Paige stepped forward, trying to stop me from making a call. You don't need to worry about company matters anymore. Pack your things and get out. I'm going to confirm with the client myself. I looked Paige straight in the eye, my voice firm, refusing to back down. This was my first client. I had poured almost all my time and energy into this proposal. Everything was fine this morning. There was no way something like this could have happened out of the blue. Paige sneered and stopped trying to block me. Go ahead and ask, if you don't believe me. I quickly dialed the client's number. The person on the other end gave me a regretful answer, but they were evasive about the reason before hanging up. Well? Am I wrong? Jenna, you are simply not competent for your role. If you have any self-awareness, you will leave the company immediately. Paige walked over to me and lowered her voice, hissing, and stay away from Ryan. Take a good look at yourself. A surge of indignant anger rose within me. There was no reason for the client to change their mind like that. If there wasn't something fishy going on here, I'd eat my hat. You don't have to look at me like that, Jenna. I promise you, you won't be able to find work in this industry ever again. So, for your own sake, don't make this any uglier than it has to be. Just leave. Paige's smile was dripping with sarcasm and triumph. I sensed something wasn't right. Everyone was looking at me, their expressions shifting from gossipy curiosity to genuine concern. Joanna quietly started moving toward Ryan's office. If this is really my fault, I'll take full responsibility. But I'm not just going to take your word for it. I need a formal notice from the client, detailing why they're replacing me and what they were dissatisfied with in my proposal. You really won't give up until you're beaten, will you? Paige frowned. If I were you, I'd pack my things and get out right now instead of continuing to embarrass myself in front of the whole company. Only guilty people run away. I put in honest, hard work. If it's my mistake, I'll own it. If it's my responsibility, I'll bear it. But I'm not going to leave without a clear explanation and let you slander me behind my back where I can't defend myself. My hands clenched into fists inside my sleeves. I fought to keep my voice steady. Feeling wronged and angry wouldn't solve anything. I needed to stay calm and think clearly. That's right, Ms. Paige. Jenna's right. Yeah, you can't just replace someone without giving them a reason. My colleagues murmured their support. Putting themselves in my shoes, they knew this was unacceptable. What are you all doing? Staging a rebellion? Paige's voice rose, sharp and severe, trying to drown out the others. And what are you doing? Ryan's voice, laced with anger, cut through the noise. I heard him standing behind me, but I didn't dare turn around. I was afraid that if I saw him, the tears of frustration would start to fall. Ryan, you haven't heard, have you? The client Jenna was in charge of complained to me. They don't want to work with us anymore. Losing such a valuable client, Jenna has to take the main responsibility. If she stays at the company, it will be hard to maintain morale. Paige paused. I know about your relationship now, but because of that, you have to be impartial. You're right. I shouldn't, and I won't, be partial, Ryan said. Then, in front of everyone, he dialed a number and put it on speaker. When the call connected, I heard my client's voice. Mr. Quinn, hello. I didn't expect this to reach you. We didn't want to make a big deal about changing designers because, well, it wouldn't be good for Jenna's reputation. Ryan said, please, speak freely. I am very confident in the abilities of our designers. You don't need to have any reservations. Paige suddenly became visibly nervous. Ryan, company matters are best resolved internally. This is also for Jenna's protection. Ryan turned to look me in the eye. For a designer, undeniable skill is the best protection. I met his gaze and nodded. He was direct and unwavering. He believed in me, and I believed in myself. In that case, Mr. Quinn, I'll be direct. Your Ms. Page sent me several proposals. Jenna's design drafts were extremely similar to those proposals, so we suspected that maybe Jenna, under a lot of work pressure and with high standards for herself, may have drawn a certain degree of inspiration from them. My jaw dropped. Although the client was being diplomatic, anyone with ears could understand what he was implying. Paige had gone to my client and accused me of plagiarism. In our industry, plagiarism is the ultimate sin. It's despised and hated. Ryan asked, whose design proposals did Paige send you? Paige stammered, no, that's not what I said. The client replied, Ms. Page said they were her proposals. I burst out laughing. The irony was rich. It's like they say, what goes around, comes around. The little thief who stole my draft back in the day was now accusing me of plagiarizing her. She must have learned a lot during her studies in Korea. Ryan's fingers swiped across his screen a few times. Could you please take a look and confirm if these are the proposals Paige sent you? There was a 10-second silence on the other end, then a quick reply, yes, Mr. Quinn. These are the ones. I didn't know what Ryan had sent the client, but I heard him say, very seriously. These drafts were all created by Jenna. She is an exceptionally talented and creative designer. However, I regret to inform you that you have lost the opportunity to work with her. The client sputtered, how can that be? Your Ms. Page personally confirmed that. Ryan cut him off. You lack the most basic trust in your own designer and are clearly unable to distinguish between different design styles. Losing a designer as brilliant as Jenna is your loss. That is all I have to say. Goodbye. He hung up. All eyes turned to Paige. Even though it was late autumn, sweat beaded on her forehead. She stared at Ryan, her lips trembling. You, how could you? How could I what? Not show you any courtesy? Or how did I know you stole Jenna's drafts again? Ryan's voice was ice cold. Again? Joanna, ever the sharp one, latched onto that word. Does this mean Paige has stolen Jenna's designs before? I did not. Paige shrieked. Ryan said, Paige, that half-finished design draft you showed me before graduation, where did you get it? Paige's face went white. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Belatedly, she looked at me. She didn't say anything, but her expression said it all. It's been a long time. Have you forgotten what that design looked like? Why don't I remind you? I kindly helped Paige recall the elements and style of the original draft, as well as her messy alterations. With every word, Paige's face grew uglier. Shut up. Shut up. Paige finally broke down under Ryan's disgusted glare and the scornful looks of our colleagues. I obediently shut my mouth. There was no need for me to say anything more. Do you know that it was because of that initial draft that I was willing to let you join our team in the first place? Ryan's brow furrowed, his anger growing. You faked the design draft, you faked the confession post, and now you're using these despicable tactics to force Jenna out. Paige, aren't you being a little too vile? Our colleagues were stunned into silence, seeing their normally gentle boss so furious for the first time. I blinked. When it came to Paige's victims, Ryan was definitely number one. She'd bailed on him when his startup was at its most difficult, leaving him and his partners to struggle through. It turned out she hadn't just sabotaged his career, but his love life, too. It would be strange if he wasn't angry. I get it now. No wonder our manager Paige could stay at this company with such poor skills. She rode in on Jenna's coattails. Joanna's sharp, gossip-tuned brain was truly a marvel, quickly piecing together the situation. I gave Joanna an appreciative look. Seeing she was right, Joanna got even more fired up. TSK, TSK, TSK. I've seen it all now. How can someone even steal a love confession? The best part is she stole it without even knowing who it was for. This is hilarious. The colleagues started chattering among themselves. They had disliked Paige's attitude for a long time and knew exactly how to twist the knife. It was a classic case of everyone kicking her while she was down, throwing stones, and delivering an on-the-spot verdict. It was karma, served hot. Ryan, is this how you treat me? After all these years I've spent by your side, don't I deserve some credit, even if not for my achievements? Paige's tears started to fall. Actually, no, Joanna said, counting on her fingers. Manager Paige, you hold a high position, but your skills are subpar, and your abilities aren't great either. Other departments often have to clean up your messes. Where exactly have you been toiling away? You, all of you, Paige's finger trembled as she pointed at the crowd. Her body swayed, and her eyes rolled back as if she were about to faint. Paige! I suddenly yelled, yanking a chair over and forcing her down into it. Startled by my shout, Paige jolted and found herself sitting. She stared at me with wide eyes. You can't faint now. It would hurt to fall on the floor, I told her gently. Faint? As if. Who said she could escape this embarrassment by passing out? Paige looked like she was about to have a stroke from sheer anger. She stared at me for a long moment, then stood up without another word, turned, and walked away without looking back. Paige resigned the next day. A friend came to pack her things. She never showed her face again. My client came to apologize in person, hoping to earn my forgiveness. Ultimately, a junior designer like me didn't carry that much weight. They just wanted to continue working with Ryan's company. My gossipy colleagues were happy. The colleagues who had been bullied by Paige were also happy. But the happiest person was definitely me. Not because Paige was gone, but because Ryan had arrived. Huh. I had just gotten out of the shower when I saw several messages on my phone from a college classmate I hadn't spoken to in ages. Ryan got up from his desk, walked over, and naturally took the towel from my hands to help me dry my hair. What's wrong? It's my college roommate. We haven't talked in forever. I wonder what's up, I said, swiping my screen open. Jenna. You did it. When did you land Ryan Quinn? Oh my God. So that's why you were so determined to join his club back then. It wasn't for your major, it was because you were thirsty. I told you back then that Ryan must have had water in his brain to like Paige. Turns out, smart people's brains don't get waterlogged. I was completely baffled. What are you freaking out about in the middle of the night? And how do you know Ryan and I are together? I hadn't even picked an auspicious day to make our relationship Instagram official yet. How did she already know? Ryan updated his old confession page post. He posted a picture of you too. My eyes went wide. I turned to look at Ryan. What is it? Ryan's lips were curved into a gentle smile, his eyes filled with endless affection as he looked at me. When did you update the confession page? My nose started to tingle. He had actually remembered that. They saw it that fast? Ryan looked very pleased. I quickly clicked the link my roommate had sent. On Ryan's confession from all those years ago, a new update was pinned to the top. Years later, I finally got the girl I've loved for so long. Beneath it was a photo of the two of us, looking at each other and smiling, our faces bright with pure, sweet joy. I started to laugh and leaned into Ryan's embrace. Ryan rested his chin on my shoulder, looking at the picture with me. The smiles on the screen and the smiles in the room merged into one. Years later, he whispered, I finally got to be with the girl I've loved for so long. And from now on, I whispered back, we'll be together, always and forever.